Right now we're going to talk about a topic that's very important to a lot of different places throughout our northwest corner of Connecticut, and one of those places is Sharon, and that is internet service. We here at the radio station and our local access TV station, which, by the way, has a piece of equipment down. That's why there's no video on it right now. We're in the process of ordering $10,000 worth of equipment to fix that. But we wouldn't exist, really, as a full-fledged radio station if we weren't lucky enough here in the center of Sharon to be able to have internet service. And we don't just have the regular internet service. We pay here our internet service to connect our radio stations, and we're lucky enough to have it where we have it, and our TV stations. The bill comes in 3 locations for us to about almost $1,200 a month. Yeah, but it's something we need and we have to have. And so we do appreciate having that. But a lot of people who come to our area, and now especially with having their jobs moved out of businesses, don't have that access. And we're going to be speaking right now with Meghan Flanagan. Meghan is from Sharon Connect, a volunteer organization that is trying to change all that. Meghan, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Marshall. Thanks for having me.
Now, just looking at your background, Megan's the Deputy Executive Director, National Society of Compliance Professionals. It's a 501c3, but so obviously there's a certain amount of working with the organizations in your background. But how did you get involved in this directive in Sharon in trying to bring internet service to everybody in town?
Sure. So the initial task force was created last winter about, we had the Northwest Connect group come to Sharon and give a presentation about the importance of and how to connect the town of Sharon in particular, but also all of the northwest corner. And so I was just asked by the selectmen if I would join a task force and help out with this, because I have a little bit of a tech-savvy background. It's all self-taught, but I like to dabble in a lot of different technologies, and I find it fascinating. And I also suffered really badly at our home up on the Ellsworth area from lack of internet connectivity. And so I played around with different options, and I was able to come up with a hotspot option that worked really well for us for a number of years. But so it was kind of a natural fit for me. That's how I got involved.
But you see, it shouldn't have to take, because we've done the same thing here. We've got certain transmitter sites that, believe it or not, are in dead zones, and the only way that we can get our information to those transmitter sites and back is through hotspot technology, which, by the way, is great, but it's not perfect. It's getting better all the time. But providing internet service to a town like Sharon, or mostly any town, really, here in Northwest Connecticut, and especially South County, Massachusetts, is even worse than here in Northwest Connecticut. It's no longer a luxury item. It should be considered. It should be considered an essential item, just like your electricity, being able to heat your home. It should be available to people because, yes, there is the social aspect of it, but there's also the professional work aspect of it. It brings in more business, and there's the safety aspect of it, where if you don't have radio reception, which is quite possible in certain areas in our area, EAS alerts now go out over cell phones and internet service, and this is a bigger question than just wanting to have internet service to have email.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I think all of us have come to, especially with COVID and even the recent storms that we had and the power outages. We're all really recognizing the importance of internet, that it's not a nice to have anymore. It's a must have. Telemedicine is really a big deal right now for all of us. And so that was, it was definitely what was forefront of our minds when we started this task force, but obviously the pandemic has made things that much more urgent for our group, for this whole area. And it really is, it's unfortunate that we suffer from this in 2020, that we are at a position now that we have to fight in order to just get someone to even look at connecting this area. And it's not just internet, it's not just being able to check your email, it's being able to get cellular service, which is a huge problem in the northwest corner, mostly because of our topography. But yeah, absolutely. It's important, and it really needs to happen now.
Yeah, and so when you sit down as a committee and you look at internet service in Sharon, how bad is it in Sharon, the connectivity?
So that's a great question. We have some really good estimates that were put out by the Northwest Connect group. And actually, we have done some of our own little bits of research that we're trying to equate against those data points that were given to us by Northwest Connect. But we felt as a committee that the best way to really get a handle on how poorly we're connected in the town of Sharon is through a survey. And we really wanted to figure out not only the true connectivity or lack thereof of the town, but also the interest of the town, right? So if we get to a point that we uncover that we are very unconnected and we really need to do something, we still have to make sure that the residents want us to do this. So what we did was we created a survey earlier on in the year, and we released that online, and we have been encouraging everyone to fill out that survey and give us a sense of where they're at with their connectivity and their interest in us working on this project and finding a better solution. And we actually just today, I believe, it's going to be hitting in the mail. We made a print version of this survey. So for those of you who've already filled it out online, we really appreciate that. And we hope that if you're listening now, you'll go online and fill it out as well. But if you aren't able to get online, because we know a lot of us aren't actually connected to do that, please fill out that paper survey and send it back in to us. There is an address envelope that's included in that package, and it will be, again, dropping in your mailbox. But we are really hoping, Marshall, to get everyone's buy-in in this town so that we have a good sense of the lack of connectivity and then also the interest of going forward with the project.
You know, and while I sit here, like I said, and we're lucky enough as a radio station to be in the center of Sharon here. We're lucky enough that our TV facility is in Canaan, which has internet service. And we're lucky enough that all our tower sites, and it truly is by a stroke of luck, have internet service, because we would not exist as we exist. As anybody would know, and if you're in business, that radio stations are just no longer radio stations. There's streaming platforms, there's social media platforms, there's public service platforms that you all have to do, and it's all powered by the internet. And that's how important of a problem it is. And as an organization called Sharon Connect and trying to get internet service, I mean, the cost for internet service to put it out here is high. And I would figure that this is one of those things that the state government can't afford to do, but the state has to then work with the national government. This is a service, as I said, that's every bit now as important as having electricity in your house. Do you foresee this taking a while to set up? Do you foresee this as a joint local, state, and national proposition? How does your organization, Sharon Connect, view this?
So that's a great question. We are actually looking at every angle, and we're approaching all of them. So we've been working really hard on uncovering different grants that we might be eligible for, going out there and trying to figure out if there's ways for us to apply for federal funds. We're attempting, every avenue, even down to, using some of our own, town money if we needed to. There's so many different options. We don't want to take them off the table, but we don't want to just stick with one solution without evaluating all of them. And in fact, one of the ways that we're going to hopefully be able to do that is get some funding to support a feasibility study and really get a handle on what the need is as far as the construction that would be involved. What does this actually look like when we set up a physical network? And what do we need to have in order to get that done? And how do we do it the best way in order to successfully connect everybody at the fastest speeds, right? Because there's so many different options out there for internet connectivity. There's current infrastructures that are in place with cable and with DSL lines, and there's this really important need for us to start moving up to fiber, because we're not only in a position now where we need to make sure people are connected, that it's a need to have, but we also need to have connectivity that is stable and strong, right? Because it's not going to be useful to us if we're all still sort of stumbling along. As you said, hotspots can be kind of inconsistent. So we're looking at really everything at this point, and we want to be able to present a solid plan that makes sense for the town and for its residents.
We're speaking with Meghan Flanagan, Sharon Connect, talking about internet service in our area. As someone who's worked in radio his whole life and knows the importance now how internet goes side by side with it, I sit here and I say I am amazed that Comcast, Frontier, the state don't find avenues. We have right here in Sharon, we have a building that if somebody were to put a Wi-Fi connection up, one of the companies would serve everything from basically Sharon Valley to just past almost to the shopping center. We have another tower that's on the north end of Sharon that is not that high. These are not visible. That can be used for the same thing. Now, that doesn't solve all the problems, but you're right. There's a creative way where you can probably stitch this together and have the state make certain demands with the Public Utility Commission on Frontier and Comcast, and working with other ways to bring that internet service not only to Sharon but to every town that doesn't have it.
Right, absolutely, and that's really what we're hoping that we're going to be able to push forward is sort of getting, as you said, stitch it together, find something that's going to be the best fit for everyone. And it isn't just the town of Sharon. Obviously, this task force is very focused on the town of Sharon, but we did open our survey to the Region 1 school district because they were actually in the same mindset that we were, that they needed to get a handle on the lack of connectivity of all their students for the Region 1. And so the survey is available for all of Region 1. However, this task force is focusing only on the responses from the town of Sharon. But yeah, again, it's really the hope is that we will be able to uncover enough data that we will really have a strong argument to go forward with support from the state and from the federal government if possible. So that's the hope of this group.
All right, and once again, people should be on the lookout in their mail and Sharon for this for now the printed version of it.
Right, absolutely. And if you wanted to fill it out online, again, if you're able to connect and you can get online, the link is actually on the Town of Sharon website. So I believe it's still on the home page there, so you should be able to access it and complete the survey from there.
Well, we will have that link. We'll put it up on our on-demand site when we post this interview up as well, so people can go to robinhoodradio.com on-demand, click on the interview section, click on this interview, and we'll have that link posted at the interview as well. Well, it's a lot of hard work. It's going to be a long-term project, Meghan, but good luck, and we appreciate all the volunteer work that local people do in the various towns on committees like this that a lot of people don't know about, but a lot of hours and a lot of work goes into it. So thank you for your work on this.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marshall. I appreciate your time today.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Sharon Connect, internet service for Sharon. And like we say, this is not just a Sharon problem. It's a problem throughout our whole tri-state region.